Okay, if you're on a product or research team, you know the feeling. You're drowning in a sea of data that tells you exactly what your users are doing, but you're left completely guessing as to why. Well, today, we're going to pull that exact problem apart. We're diving into the massive difference between just knowing what's happening and really, truly understanding why.
I mean, seriously, think about it. You see the churn rate, the drop-offs, the low engagement metrics. But what's the actual story hiding behind those numbers? Why are people who seem super interested one day just gone the next? It's one of the toughest, most frustrating questions to get a real answer to.
And this, right here, is the heart of the matter. It's this giant gap between the surface-level numbers and the deep, actionable insights. Knowing what is happening, that's just measurement. But knowing why? That's discovery. And discovery is where the real breakthroughs are hiding.
So let's start in familiar territory. When a team needs to get a grip on the what, they usually reach for the classic go-to tool for collecting data at a massive scale. Yep, we're talking about the world of big survey platforms like Qualtrics. And let's be clear, these things are absolute beasts for quantifying stuff. You need to A/B test a headline, measure your Net Promoter Score across the country, get feedback from thousands of users. This is your weapon of choice. It's all about validating your ideas with hard numbers.
But, and this is a big but, when you rely only on this kind of data, you can run headfirst into what we call the insight gap. It gives you a number that looks like a clear answer, but it might be pointing you in the completely wrong direction.
Okay, so picture this. You run a churn survey, and this is what comes back. A whopping 40% of users say your product is too expensive. The path forward seems crystal clear, right? Let's schedule the meeting. We gotta lower the price. It's a clean, simple, quantifiable answer. But is it the truth? This is the million-dollar question that survey data just can't answer on its own. See, too expensive is a really easy box to check. It's a surface-level complaint. The real reason, the root cause, is almost always hiding just one layer deeper.
And there it is. Boom! The aha moment. You finally have a real deep conversation with a user, and you find out too expensive had almost nothing to do with the actual price tag. It was about value. This person is literally telling you, hey, I would happily pay you more money if this thing was just part of my daily routine. The problem wasn't your price, it was your onboarding.
Just look at that contrast. It's everything. The survey data points you toward a simple but probably wrong solution / your prices. The real insight points to a totally different and way more powerful solution: fix your onboarding experience. One tells you what people say, the other tells you what they actually mean. So how do we get to that root cause every single time? How do we build a bridge across that insight gap? Well, this brings us to a whole new way of thinking, an approach built from the ground up to find the why.
And this is where platforms like Atypica come into play. See, instead of just blasting out a static list of multiple-choice questions, these tools use AI to conduct deep one-on-one interviews. The AI actually adapts on the fly, asking intelligent follow-up questions based on what the user just said. We're talking about conversations that can go on for thousands of words. It's designed to find the insights you didn't even know you should be looking for.
And then there's the speed. Let's be real. With the old-school survey approach, you're looking at a multi-week slog. First, you've got to design the survey, then recruit all your participants, then wait for the data to trickle in, and then you have to manually try to make sense of it all. It takes a ton of time.
Now, get ready for this. With an AI interview platform, that entire cycle can be crunched down to about 20 minutes. Yeah, you heard that right. 2 minutes to set it up, 10 minutes for the AI to run all the interviews, and 8 minutes for the insights to be automatically generated for you. That's not just a little bit faster. It completely changes the game for how and when you can do research.
Okay, theory is great, but let's make this super tangible. How does this whole what versus why thing play out when there's a real business problem on the line?
So here's our situation. A SaaS company is in real trouble. Their conversion rate, getting people from a free trial to a paid plan, has dropped by a painful 20%. They know what is happening, but they are flying blind on the why. A survey would probably just tell them it's about price again, but we know better now, don't we?
So they turned to AI interviews, and the insights they got back weren't some vague feelings. They were specific, actionable commands. They learned some folks just needed a monthly payment option instead of annual. Others desperately needed a collaboration feature that was missing. And get this, a ton of users didn't even realize the best paid features existed because they had confusing names and the onboarding was terrible.
And here is the payoff. After they made those specific insight-driven changes, their conversion rate didn't just bounce back.
it shot up by 42%. That is the incredible power of solving for the root cause, of finding the why before you rush off to measure the how many.
So look, the big takeaway here isn't that one tool is good and the other is bad. Not at all. It's about understanding that in research, you have two very different jobs to do: discovery and validation.
This chart lays it out perfectly. You use a tool like Atypica when you're in the discovery phase. You need to explore, to understand the why, to come up with new ideas. Then you use a tool like Qualtrics for the validation phase. You have an idea, and now you need to measure how many people agree with it at scale. You see, one is for finding the right questions to ask, and the other is for getting answers to them.
And this is what it all boils down to. While measuring how many is absolutely crucial for validating things, almost all of the true innovations, the game-changing breakthroughs, they don't come from measuring what you already suspect. They come from discovering a user problem you never even knew you had. So I'm going to leave you with this one question to chew on for your own projects. When you're staring down your next big problem, are you set up to just measure the what? Or do you have the tools and, more importantly, the mindset to go deeper and uncover the why? Because that answer could be the difference between a tiny little tweak and your next massive breakthrough.